Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. In our next video, we've got Aaron Clancy being put on blast by two of his ex-girlfriends, one of which might be back with him. Reality Steve has this full report. We're going to just read the text, and then we'll just see if there's any nuance to the story. I haven't read all the texts yet. I like to read them with you guys. That's why we are a reaction channel. Follow me on Instagram, @DNeals, patreon.com/Dave Neal for behind-the-scenes bonus content, a lot of which we will have today at 10 a.m. And also Bachelor Rush Hour, where we sum up the day's Bachelor news on podcast form. Go check that out, Bachelor Rush Hour, link in the comment section below. So we made this video just a couple days ago, Aaron's other lover. Game of Roses posted that Aaron Clancy is one of the best players Paradise has ever seen. And then Jen Parisi, who's currently with Aaron on Bachelor in Paradise, we'll see how that plays out, says creating drama from nothing at someone else's expense who actually has a heart and isn't playing a game shouldn't be praised. That's sad. Now we have a response. Of course, this is the information that Reality Steve brought out. He blurred the other ladies' names. So he shared this photo right here. Of course, go to realitysteve.com to get the full story. There was question about which woman was from before the season versus after. And it looked like he had relations with the same two women before the season. Now, that would be okay. I'm not here to judge. Let's see what the ladies had to say as they called each other out. So Reality Steve has all of their text messages. I'll read them in a second. So he calls them A and B, Amy and Beth. Those are their pseudonyms. Beth reached out to Reality Steve after he ran his story last week. He had a FaceTime conversation with her yesterday. She started seeing Aaron in September of last year, right when last season of Paradise was airing. They dated through September through around November when they broke it off. January of this year, they rekindled and started dating again, but this time more serious. So that implies that they were very casual at first. He even helped raise her dog with her, which she provided pics of, and Beth tells me they were basically together all the time from January through May, a couple weeks before he left for Paradise. Totally fine. You can be with somebody before you go on the show. Well, that is when she wasn't out of town on a girls' trip or traveling for fun, because during those times, Aaron was still seeing Amy. The overlap is undeniable, and you'll see that it's undeniable because once Aaron went off to film Bachelor in Paradise in June, Beth had known Amy was in the picture, but was always assured by Aaron that Amy was just a friend and nothing was going on, yet he was telling Amy the same thing about Beth. Okay, now we're getting interesting. So he's telling each ladies, Amy and Beth, that the other one is nothing to be worried about while he's seeing the other one. Oh, an old parent trap situation here. Beth reached out to Amy in June because she felt she needed to know. And once they started swapping stories and timelines, they realized they were both being played. This is the conversation between Amy and Beth. Da-dum. It doesn't seem like Law and Order. This is the conversation. Da-dum. Somebody had asked if it was fabricated because the text messages looked weird. Apparently it's because they were texting through Facebook. All right. I'm sorry to ask this, and please don't feel like you need to share anything with me, but are you already aware of a time that there was overlap? I'm trying to understand your last message. I know there has been some gray area, but I suppose I wasn't aware if he was ever talking to us intimately at the same time, or maybe that's not what you meant. I just didn't really understand, but again, don't want to overstep to keep things very candid. I know you two have talked and spent time together, but I was told that it has been completely platonic since him and I first started seeing each other last year. That doesn't seem to be the case based on your last message, which is where I'm coming from, and this is where the text begin to get exchanged. The response: I only want to be fair and honest with you because being put in this situation sucks for the both of us. I didn't mean to step on your toes, and if I did, I'm sorry, but again, being honest because you deserve the truth too. Our relationship was way more than platonic. He told me the same thing about you, that you were just friends and there wasn't anything there, and even recently he said the same thing. That's why I was also so questionable, because I could tell he wasn't being honest. But yes, I can positively say there was overlap and other times a little too close for comfort, but used the "we're just friends" excuse. And if he told you we have always had a platonic relationship since last year, he is completely lying to you. The response: you are definitely not overstepping. I truly appreciate the honesty, even if this is the outcome. I would much rather prefer to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Of course, I always had a gut feeling, as I'm sure you did, but he has always been so direct and intense about you two just being friends. This makes way more sense, though. I'm sorry he put us in this situation. Just looking back, it is insane how much he blatantly lied to both of us about this. I'm so glad we're both on the same page. I can't believe he told you that. He pretty much helped me raise my puppy from January to middle of May. We were talking every day and seeing each other almost every day, besides of either of us were out of town. So messed up that he put us in this situation. I am so beyond sorry. The response: OMG. And then the response to that, we'll get into that in a second. Whenever someone says, OMG, we like to play the button.
Oh my
Literally, my
God.
exact reaction is the response there. And then they said, and then told me he wanted to go on Paradise, but stay with me. And I was like, absolutely not. Just so effed up. I was with him, of course, in January, but also stayed over with him a few nights over the following months and started more heavily talking to him again in April. By then, though, when he left for Paradise, I was with him every day. But because I didn't want to be in a serious relationship with him, when we talked about Paradise, I was fine with him going and was prepared for that. So one person saying, and again, we're trying to just like see this from the most objectionable place in the world, is that a word? Is that one person saying, that said that she was okay with him going because she didn't want anything serious. So on one end, we have one of the people that seem to be okay with the timeline of him dating other people, or at least maybe she thought she was exclusive until he went to Paradise. Maybe Aaron thought that because she was okay with him going to Paradise, he could white lie about this other relationship he's in. Again, I don't know, folks. This is a lot. This is so effed up. I'm so sorry too. And then the response to that is crazy to me. So manipulative. Yeah, his excuse was always, we've been friends for a long time. And I noticed now he was just saying him and I were friends too, so we wouldn't get caught. I honestly kind of shocked right now at how he pulled this off. And I guess he didn't pull it off. I'm sure you know better than me, but I'm pretty sure there is a rumor of him doing this to his ex too. Same. I knew like deep down, but I always gave him the benefit of the doubt. Like looking back, I really should have just stuck with my gut. The response is, yeah, this is a shocking, of course, for you but I am not shocked by him. I totally get that. It's hard when you really care about someone and want to believe the best. I probably would have never known if it weren't for this conversation. It's insane because he said the only time you guys hung out was once when you came over to apologize for some drunk guy calling him a D-bag at the bar, but nothing happened. And then after that, he only ever saw you out, but it wasn't planned. That is, in all caps, psycho. The response, ... And then I think, getting to the end, it sounds like he has been saying the same exact thing to both of us on and off since last year. He totally has. He literally kept telling, we're just friends. You're acting like something is more than it is, to make it seem like I always was overthinking or being crazy when he was lying the whole time. Like when I wasn't there, he used you to fill that void. And when you weren't there, he used me to fill that void. That is 100% how I'm feeling right now. Voids being filled. So horrible. I'll probably never speak to him again. Same. So they both agreed that they would never speak to him again. And as Reality Steve showed, and we'll show in his article, that's not the case. One of the women is back with him. I'm so glad we found this out earlier than later, though. I'm going to talk to him when he gets back from Paradise based on where things were when he left, but only to tell him what we both know and that it's done moving forward. I'm sorry, though, because it is painful regardless to find this out. We didn't deserve this, and he definitely didn't deserve us. Now, my question is, I wonder if both women have consented to release this conversation or if it's just one of the ladies, because it could have been that he got back with one of them and they're back on good terms. I don't really know. We don't know their names. It's kind of nice that we don't know their names. It's kind of like we can read this as fan fiction and, not have to like reach out to people's Instagrams. I'm sure someone could find out who they are, but we don't need to do that. It really does suck. You didn't deserve this. So they do the whole glad we have each other's back. We didn't deserve this type of thing. He said that, let's go back here. My dad said the same to me. I also feel the same. It's like everything I wondered about has been confirmed, but this is still way more extreme than I would have ever known. He was saying, I love you and all that starting last year. She said he's made for TV. That's why his responses always seem like they are BS, and it's exactly what you want to hear. OMG, that's what my dad said too, exactly. And my friends, OMG. He said that, but only as a friendly matter. Okay. No, definitely not. He was always saying he has a lot of love for me too. Well, saying someone has a lot of love for you isn't saying I love you, right? Not to split hairs here. Clearly there's a scenario, and then it ends with OMFG, which stands for oh my fungal gap. What an a-hole. Wow. And that's where that story ends. And then we go to Genevieve's Instagram, and so far no response from Genevieve, who is with Aaron as far as the season's concerned. There they are. Whether or not they're still together, I'm sure we'll get a response from her in one way or another, because we know she has been very vocal about her experience on the show. And let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment. I mean, it's one of those things, it's like kind of rough to read this because it's just a lot of people sharing their notes. It might sound redundant, repetitive, and all that jazz, but it's interesting. So Amy and Beth reached out to Reality Steve to run this story. So go to realitysteve.com to see the full information. Reality Steve says, I know people love to throw around that, well, there's 3 sides to every story, his side, her side, and the truth, but I'm sorry, not here. 2 women having a conversation about Aaron while he's off filming Paradise in June, realizing they were both played by him. So, you could look into it and how he's acting on the show and all that. If you would like to continue seeing Reality Steve's point of view on this, I highly suggest going to realitysteve.com, where the source and story has originated. Always good to credit our sources here for the work that they're doing, because it ain't easy to put this all together. And I know a lot of people will stand on both sides saying it's good to warn others of someone who's being manipulatory, playing the field. And then others might say, hey, let their private life stay private. I'm not really sure. These screen grabs weren't stolen. They were given to Reality Steve. So if there are more people in this sort of lovers tango that want to come out, they know who to find, and that's Reality Steve. I just imagine he's got one of those large printers and he's just pinning up text messages with yarn going back and forth. I mean, it's very complicated. I can imagine nowhere in his early youth would Reality Steve have thought this is what he'd be dealing with, but it's fascinating. And to his credit, it provides a sort of canvas for a larger conversation about how to communicate with people as decent humans. And when you're on a reality show, you kind of get exposed in a way that you might not if you were just a traditional F-boy, as they're called. All right, if you want other content today, we've got a Christmas beef. That's right, Candace Cameron ignites a Christmas war. JoJo Siwa and other celebrities call out her bigotry. If you want to check out that video, click on it right there. I'll have a link for it. That's on the Dave Neal Show. More content coming your way right after this.